Welcome back. In today's video, we are mastering one of the most powerful tools in the Quality Engineer's Toolkit, the Pareto Chart. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by a long list of problems and didn't know where to start, this tool is your roadmap to efficiency. Table of Contents. In this video, we're going to master the Pareto Chart. We'll start with the definition and the famous principle behind it, break down the parts of the chart, and look at how different industries use it. Then, I'll show you the different types, the exact steps to build your own, and how it compares to other tools before finishing with its advantages and limitations. When we talk about problem solving in a professional setting, we often have too much data and not enough direction. That's where the Pareto chart comes in. By definition, it is a specialized bar graph where your data points are plotted in descending order, meaning the tallest, most frequent bars stay on the left, and the smaller ones trail off to the right. But what makes it truly specialized is the cumulative percentage line overlaid across the top. This line shows the mathematical weight each category adds to the total, helping you see exactly when you've reached that critical 80% mark. It isn't just another graph, it is officially recognized as one of the Magnificent Seven, the 7 basic tools of quality control. These tools were popularized by quality pioneers like Kaoru Ishikawa because they are simple enough for anyone to use, yet powerful enough to solve the vast majority of process-related issues. By using a Pareto chart, you aren't just looking at a report, you are using a globally standardized method to separate the signal from the noise. The concept behind this chart actually starts over a century ago in Italy. It's named after the economist Vilfredo Pareto, who made a fascinating observation while studying national wealth. He noticed that roughly 80% of the land in Italy was owned by only 20% of the population. This observation evolved into what we now call the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule. The core logic is simple yet profound. In almost any system, roughly 80% of the effects, whether those are quality defects, customer complaints, or even total revenue, come from just 20% of the causes. In a professional setting, our ultimate goal with this principle is to stop being distracted by the trivial many. These are the dozens of small, low-impact issues that eat up your time but don't move the needle. Instead, we use the Pareto principle to identify and laser focus on the vital few, that small handful of critical issues that, if solved, will eliminate the vast majority of your problems. It's about working smarter by knowing exactly where your effort will yield the highest return. To understand how to read a Pareto chart, we need to look at its specific anatomy. The x-axis contains your categorical data. These are the specific issues you're tracking, like loose buttons or missing labels. These are always arranged in order of importance, from highest to lowest. For measurement, the chart uses two scales. The primary y-axis on the left tracks the frequency, cost, or time, which determines the height of your bars. On the opposite side, secondary y-axis on the right tracks the cumulative percentage, scaling from 0 to 100%. The baseline at the bottom serves as the reference point for all bar heights, ensuring the data is easy to compare. Finally, we look for the 80% cutoff line. This is a horizontal marker that helps you instantly identify your priority zones. Any bars to the left of where the cumulative line crosses this 80% mark are your vital few that require immediate attention. The Pareto chart is incredibly versatile across different industries. In manufacturing, we use it to analyze types of defects or downtime causes. By identifying the top reasons for machine failure, teams can drastically reduce scrap and improve overall efficiency. In healthcare, specifically within organizations like the CEC, it's used to audit medication errors. By comparing issues like a missed dose versus a wrong drug error, hospitals can prioritize the specific safety protocols that protect the most patients. In retail and sales, it helps businesses identify the top 20% of products or customers that generate the bulk of their revenue. This allows managers to focus their marketing and inventory efforts where they matter most. Finally, in software development, teams use it to sort bug reports. Instead of fixing every minor glitch, They use the chart to identify and fix high-impact issues first, like critical authentication failures, rather than spending time on simple layout adjustments. Building a Pareto chart is a structured process that starts with 4 foundational steps. First, you must decide on your categories. This involves grouping your data points logically, for example, by department, machine type, or specific error types, to ensure your analysis is organized. Next, select your measurement. You need to decide what metric best reflects the impact of the problem. Common choices include frequency of occurrence, total cost, quantity of scrap, or hours of downtime. Then, choose a time period. You must define the scope of your data to keep it relevant, whether that's tracking issues over a single shift, a full week, or an entire month. You collect and subtotal your data. The most effective way to do this is by using a tally sheet or a check sheet. This allows you to count every occurrence per category in real time, giving you the accurate totals needed to begin your ranking. You sort your data. Arrange your categories in descending order, from the highest frequency or cost to the lowest. This ensures the most significant issues are always on the left. Next, calculate the percentages. You do this by taking the subtotal for each category, dividing it by the grand total, and multiplying by 100. This shows the relative weight of each individual problem. Then, you calculate the cumulative sum. Starting with your first category, you add the percentage of the current bar to the sum of all preceding bars. By the time you reach the last category, your total must equal 100%. Finally, it's time to plot the chart. Draw your bars corresponding to the left axis and then plot the cumulative percentage line using the right axis. If you're looking to create this digitally, I've included the specific steps for Excel in the video description below. Why the standard chart is powerful? There are 3 specific types of Pareto charts used for deeper analysis. First is the weighted Pareto chart. This is crucial when frequency alone doesn't tell the whole story. It factors in the cost or severity of a defect. For example, you might have 50 cheap repairs that cost less than one single, rare, but extremely expensive repair. Weighting ensures you prioritize by financial impact. Next is the comparative Pareto. This involves placing two charts side by side to compare data from different times or locations. It's the primary way teams demonstrate the success of an improvement project by showing a before versus after view of the same process. Finally, we have the multi-dimensional Pareto. This is used to drill down into a specific issue. You take the tallest bar from your first chart and break it down into its own secondary, more detailed Pareto chart. This helps you move from a broad problem category to a specific, actionable root cause. It is easy to confuse the Pareto chart with other common graphs, so let's look at how they differ across 3 key features. First is the order. In a Pareto chart, bars must always be in descending order to highlight importance. In a standard bar chart, the order is arbitrary or alphabetical. A histogram, however, is ordered by ranges or bins, such as age groups or time intervals. Next, consider the cumulative line. The Pareto chart is the only one here that includes this line to show the total impact. Both the bar chart and the histogram rely solely on the bars and do not include a cumulative percentage. Finally, we look at the purpose. A bar chart is used for simple comparison between categories, and a histogram is used to show the distribution or variation in a set of data. The Pareto chart, however, is specifically designed for prioritization, helping you decide exactly which problem to tackle first. To wrap up, let's look at the core advantages of using this tool. First, it sets clear priorities. By visually ranking issues, it takes the guesswork out of management, showing you exactly where to focus for the biggest impact. It anchors decisions in data. Instead of relying on gut feelings or who shouts the loudest in a meeting, you are making objective choices based on hard facts and mathematical frequency. It provides excellent visual communication. Because the 80-20th relationship is so easy to see, it becomes a powerful way to explain your strategy to stakeholders, ensuring everyone is aligned on why certain tasks are being prioritized over others. Why the Pareto chart is a powerful tool. It does have 2 critical limitations you must keep in mind. First, it can hide rare but severe issues. Because the chart prioritizes based on frequency or total cost, a low-frequency event might end up as a tiny bar on the far right. However, if that one event is a fatal safety hazard or a catastrophic system failure, it is still your top priority, even if the chart doesn't show it as a vital few item. Second, the Pareto chart only shows frequency or cost. It does not identify the root cause. It tells you what is happening and where to look, but it doesn't explain why the problem exists. Once you've used your Pareto chart to pick your battle, you'll need to switch to a tool like a fishbone diagram or the 5 whys to actually solve the problem. In short, use the Pareto to find the target, but use root cause analysis to fix it. To summarize, here are the 3 key takeaways to remember when using this tool. First, always start with the tallest bars. These represent your vital few, and focusing your resources here will provide the maximum impact on your overall quality or efficiency. Second, don't ignore the 80% line. This line is your boundary. It tells you exactly when to stop focusing on the trivial many. Once you cross that 80% threshold, the remaining issues are low value and usually aren't worth a massive investment of time. Finally, remember that a Pareto chart is a living tool. It isn't a one-time report. You should update it regularly after implementing changes. This allows you to verify your improvements and see if the tallest bars have actually shrunk or if new priorities have emerged. By following these principles, you ensure your problem-solving efforts are always data-driven and highly effective.